Hey, welcome to the Foster Fathers Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle.
And this is a podcast all about foster care, adoption, and fatherhood.
We hope that you feel welcome. We hope that you feel that you belong. And we're glad that you're here to share this time with us.
Let's go. Well, hey, welcome to another episode of the Foster Fathers Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Kyle.
And we said that in our intro, but here we are saying it again. But
do you listen to our podcast?
Yes. I listen to it right as I post it.
Is that vanity or is it just making sure it's...
Is it vanity if the whole time you go, wow, you're kind of an idiot. What are you doing this?
That sounded very pompous.
Yeah.
You sound like you actually had it together, but you don't.
Yeah, dude. You're lying to everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
We're trying not to lie to you. I know this is something I just really want to make clear. I think I said something similar last episode, but we're not here to tell you everything that we know. We're here to tell you everything that we are figuring out actively. Yeah. And next week will probably episode will be more things that we're actively learning as we step farther into foster care, as I step closer toward adoption. I mean, we're getting closer by the day. And our caseworker came by this last week and said, hey, we're looking at maybe a month away, and so it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
So if you somehow stumbled into this podcast, which there are a few people now that are like relatively listening to this thing. A couple.
Thank you.
We're in the 30s and 40s of people listening to this, which is actually way better than I thought it would be at this point. But
it's a solid classroom full of students.
If we
getting
were
indoctrinated with all of our intelligence.
No.
If we walked I'm done with the self-deprecating talk. We'll move on.
If we walked into a room and 30 people showed up to hear us talk, we'd be over the moon. So there you go. So if you were walking into this, you stumbled into this podcast and you were like, these guys are the experts that know what they're doing, that you're in the wrong place.
Wrong.
But we hope that you can relate and you feel loved and heard and understood and maybe learn something. Because we're maybe a little bit further along than others and behind others learning. So okay.
But we're here. Mm-hmm. We're present.
Yep.
And we're going to keep doing this so that way we can create a space for people to be a part of something.
Yeah, love it. Okay, Kyle, you're up for
this week. Foster care is...
This week foster care is, and it's up to you, dude. What is it?
Yeah, this week foster care is holding babies. So I actually... We're recording from Chris's garage. I know by the backdrop you can't tell, but we are in his garage. And so I drive out and we record. And this week
into the suburbs.
Into the burbs. It's a big sacrifice for me to come to where Chris lives. But... the reward this week was getting to hold Chris's little foster kiddo, going on 5 months did we decide? 5 months, going almost 6 months. Yeah. And so this week foster care is holding babies, and the reason why that's what foster care is this week is because I have 4 kids.
Yeah, you do.
Yet
never had a baby.
I've never had a baby, which is something that when I've thought about having kids, that stage has been the stage that I've looked forward to the most. The age that I love out of kids is that 0 to 3 months, 0 to 6 months range, which I think a lot of people, it makes them scared, but that's what I really am drawn to. Yet,
for whatever reason,
I find myself with 4 kids and no babies, no child. None of my children have I held at a point of being a baby. Have I rocked them to sleep? Yes. Have I held them in my arms? Yes. Have I changed their diapers? Yeah. Yes. Have I fed them bottles and food? Yes. But we have not been at the point where they were actually in the baby stage. And, to go back to one of our previous episodes, but it's not about you, and then yet another previous episode. I mean, you got to be flexible. It's going to be ever changing and never expecting, and that's where I'm at this week. So it didn't make me sad that I didn't get to hold my kids as a babies, but I really just got to relish in the moment of holding your kid.
Yeah.
And
he went right to bed, dude. You got the whole bottle in him.
Bottle and night. So I still got it.
Good work,
baby
dude.
whisperer.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, maybe you're on that same journey, and that's hard. I mean, that's definitely not the way maybe most people dream it up.
Yeah.
But good job.
Yeah.
All right. This week we are talking through how to maintain a great relationship with your spouse during foster care and adoption. Something that, as we were just about to hit record, I was like, well, my wife and I kind of fought today, so this is really great to talk about this today.
My wife and I.
Yeah. Which is really a good thing to keep in mind, especially as dudes. I mean, if this is a foster fathers podcast, like, we are prone to go into mode of get things done, figure it out, go to sleep, wake up, keep going. And, maybe intimacy, both physically, emotionally, all that stuff isn't necessarily the highest thing on the list.
Yeah.
Maybe physical for sure, but like emotional.
Yeah. I mean, when you're going from 0 to 60, which would be going from 0 to 1 kid, or let's say you have 3 kids. So for your situation, going from 3 to 4 kids, I mean, that's a quick adjustment. You didn't have preparation and time to get ready for that. And so you settle into like a reactive mode. You weren't quite ready to prepare for that. And so that it's a quick change. And so sometimes it becomes just getting the day done. Yeah. Just getting through the day, getting people fed, getting kids to sleep, and the last thing on your mind is maintaining that core relationship between yourself. In our situation, our wives. For some of you, husband. For others, wives. What are a few things?
Yeah, this isn't necessarily a list and all that stuff, but we want to spend some time thinking about that. And I think the overarching word, if I had to put a theme on it, and this is something that I remind myself quite often, the overarching theme in that relationship with your spouse is intentionality. Okay. It's like everything kind of falls into that bucket, if you will. Something that I'm not particularly great at sometimes, especially, I think sometimes you become too, for lack of a better term, selfish people, fighting for energy, fighting for preservation, fighting for rest. I've heard it said the best marriages are 2 servants serving each other, and that's a wonderful thing to say out loud. Yeah. But when push comes to shove and someone's tired, the last thing I probably want to do is serve you. Right. And that's what, you're called to in a marriage and a commitment and a covenant like that. And
what they need from you is what you are wanting from them. Yeah. Is that support, is someone to look out for them, someone to take their situation into consideration. And I mean, it goes back to, this is no longer about you. This is about us. This is about our journey together, and this is about the kids that we're trying to support. And so some of this is also realizing that the stronger that your family unit is at that core relationship, the better that your kids have. Yeah. The better situation they will have, the better your foster kids, or your adoptive kids will have, in that stability and that warmth that you have between you and your spouse, gives them a safe place to be. Yeah. So give me a couple. Give me a couple. Yeah, how would you get this started of making sure you protect that space between that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, this is, maybe a simple one, maybe elementary, if you will, but find a support system. And one of the biggest, I guess not misconceptions maybe, is that as you walk into something like foster care and adoption, as taxing and as hard and as emotionally draining as it can be, your only support system shouldn't just be your spouse. Right. And, we talk about how that reality and that relationship is the most important, correct. It is, but I mean, a support system of people that she can go to, he can go to, I can go to, and unload on, if you will, or at least let it out or talk it through, the support system that is needed. I mean, that's how our friendship really was based on.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're honest. And so I think that's something that you need to spend some time on. Is the tendency is to say that my case, my wife is the support system that I need to get through this. Although that is very true and very important, it's not the only one you need. And so that's something that I think is just a great reminder.
She only has so much to give because she's being emotionally taxed the same that you are. Yeah. Okay.
And honestly, in some respects, it's also nice to get out of the house, hopefully, and we'll talk about that maybe a little bit later, but get out of the house, away. She'll probably shoulder the load for the night, obviously, but dude, go do something and don't even think about this.
So you're talking about having other people besides your wife to besides your spouse to help you maintain your sanity.
Sure.
Which it seems counterintuitive. How do you keep the relationship strong with your spouse?
Yeah.
Find other people, right? So dive into give me a couple examples of people that you would look to help maintain.
I'm kind of a verbal processor, I guess, and that's something that we talk through with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of them in my life, and just other people in and around that kind of maybe are privy to what's happening in our home. But also there's something nice about, I love going to the movies, and I love just like vegging out on a movie and escaping into another person's story for an hour and a half and coming back and doing that with a friend or grabbing a beer with somebody and just talking about sports, like that stuff. Like, it's just the reality of the support system that exists.
Disconnecting from your present reality.
Yeah, and that's like not, you're right. It sounds counterintuitive. But the support system of that, someone else to just listen, someone else to just unload and unwind with. But then we also kind of wrote in this support system conversation, babysitters, which kind of lends hands in hand with a date night kind of thing. But knowing that, I think you even talked about this, I think it's coming up in your life where you know people that can watch your kids. And
we have one coming up this weekend.
Yeah. Knowing that your support system exists in the practical sense as well. Like, we have great neighbors, and our neighbors, like, our kids run over there for a cookie a couple times a week. Like, that's just who they are, and they're amazing, and they're people that we know we can lean on. And that it's a text that sometimes says, hey, dude, we got 3 crying kids. We're at our wit's end. No one's going to bed or whatever. Can you take one? And 2 of our kids went over there tonight and just played hide and seek with her. And she's amazing. And that's just the awareness of the support system that we have. And that was something that wasn't necessarily the first thing on our list as we kind of walked into foster care and adoption. It was like